That way we have so we have proof that we met for an hour.
Yeah.
But you might be able to splice the two videos together on YouTube.
Okay. Alrighty. So we addressed validating their business model briefly.
Yep.
So it asks right after this one is a business model.
Wait, it said what is a business model?
Yeah, it asks us that.
Oh my gosh.
What is a business model?
The reading highlight.
Well,
did I miss something?
I mean, a business model.
It's basically the design of the business, how it runs, or what's going to make it run. Looking at the set definition, it says a design for the successful operation of a business, identifying revenue sources, customer base, products, and details of financing. So,
are you reading from the question?
no, I just read that from Google.
Oh,
as far as what a business model is.
Yeah, when I read this question, I'm not sure. Maybe I should have read it a little closer, but CVP, GATM, TOM, CFF.
Oh yeah.
What is that?
I honestly didn't know either. I was hoping you guys would.
Okay, let's ask Google. Let's see here. It says the reading highlights 4 components of a business model.
I don't think so. I just typed into Finder business model. There's nowhere in the reading that has anywhere that talks about a business model.
I had
Or at least that I can find.
You talking about the case study itself?
Yeah.
Feels like it's like talking about or referencing like something in iLearn or something like that. Rental business model calculations. That's just an Excel spreadsheet or something like that. Huh. Let's see here. Let me see if I can.
maybe it's referencing our readings, like from prior, and not necessarily the case study.
Like from the first part of the week or last week?
Yeah. All we had.
I just found something that is Harvard Business Review, a new framework for business models. Maybe I read this. Was there an article that we read from Harvard Business Review?
There's one about doing case studies, but I don't remember one about business models.
Yeah, it was how to do a case.
Oh, okay. I think I found something. Here, I think I found something in my. Let me share my screen. Harvard Business Review. Feels like I remember reading this article. Okay, so the CVP is a customer value proposition, and that was the first one. See if there's another acronym in here somewhere. No, of course not. Hold on, let me try something else. was I reading something about? Let's see here. There was something else that I read. Feels like I've read something about this. It might have been a different class.
Hmm.
Oh man.
So what was CVP though?
Client value proposition.
Okay.
GTM. Get to market. Well, let me see if I can. Maybe I just read through this article way too quick.
Did you just look that up, or was it?
Yeah, I just totally Googled that. But I've been on Harvard Business Review. I've read a whole bunch of articles from a lot of different things. I just thought it was from this. Was it? Oh, wait. Maybe it was. Here we go. Let's try this. No, that's the poster. Oh boy. No. Can you still see my screen or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only showed the. Okay. Yes, but operational innovation. Maybe I read something about here. No. Okay, sorry, that was a goose chase.
No worries. So I guess let's identify the CVP since we know that one. What
What was that again? Was
client
Customer
CVP?
value proposition.
value proposition? Okay.
So they initially thought their customer value proposition was affordability and convenience, but that they were going to be able to help women be more confident and boost their self-esteem.
I'm not sure what the other three are, but I could definitely see the CVP as a very big component of their business model. Like you said, I mean, to be able to fill the need of women, definitely a value in society today, and they're willing to pay a lot to be able to get that.
Yeah, so like the second component of their proposition isn't just it's what the need is filled, what need is filled, and from a revenue situation, how is that how does that benefit the clients? So
Right.
you can buy a really, really pretty dress and spend $1,000, or you can rent it for $100. And instead of just having one dress, you can have 10 dresses for the same money. So that's their value proposition as well. It's you can be that pretty girl that is got all the latest, greatest fashion, for a tenth of the price. And you'll never have to wear the same dress twice. So not only will people see that, unless you tell them, you can just say, you don't even know, needs to know, you don't even need to pretend like you're renting it. So that's the biggest value proposition. Even though they decided that they were worried that people were going to be conscientious or self-conscious rather them renting instead of purchasing, but they didn't care. People don't care. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it seemed like their their business model is more pointed towards higher class, like more wealthier class, just because, I mean, their prices weren't terrible. I shouldn't say that in regards to their prices, because I think middle class and lower class might even be able to compete there. But how they presented themselves as a business was definitely very professional. It was by invitation only. I was trying to remember some of the different aspects as well of how they presented it. Definitely seemed like they're trying to attract that type of a clientele of a business.
I think that's something that like hurt. Well, I mean, they clearly didn't have enough inventory to even do what the amount that they were given. But for me, like from a business standpoint, I don't think that by invitation only is like is necessarily a good business model. Just because you're basing your entire customer based off of references, and I just don't think that's the smartest way to go about things. But clearly, they couldn't handle that even, so maybe it was smart. But
it was a great way to play damage control. I mean, if you can't handle what's going on, you say you have to contact me before I can help you. So I think they were.
Yeah.
I think that's partially what helped them there, because they would have gone. They had customers coming in and being like, I need this, and they definitely couldn't meet those needs.
Sure.
All right.
Did you just talk about my internet was breaking up a little bit, so I got like every third word, but I think I was following where you're talking about how they were they were getting a lot of people from referrals. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, that's the only day is by invitation only that people could come on and get the dresses and things. And so I was just saying from like my business standpoint, invitation only referral is the best way to go about things, I would say. But as I think Nick Nick had said that, like, that's actually kind of the thing that saved them, just because they didn't have enough inventory to even get out to the amount of customers that they had to begin with. So
yeah. I think new ideas like this, and it's kind of technology based. So like in today's world, new ideas like this and technology centered, the referral scenario is kind of like one of the ways to do it, one of the ways to go. That was actually how Dropbox did it. Uber, Airbnb, all technology type things. They do it by kind of like a referral type setting like that. So it's I don't think it works in every industry, so there's certainly limitations, but from a technology standpoint, that kind of viral marketing is pretty effective in gaining a kind of a customer base that you can market to. Now, I think you said they had like 150,000 members. Not all of them rented, partially because they didn't have the inventory. But when starting out and having 150,000 people that you can market to that are your key and target demographic, that's a pretty big deal. So for them in their segment, in what they were doing, that was probably one of the greatest things they could have done, because now once they get things figured out and get stuff situated, now they can go back to that customer base and say, hey, try our new product, or try our new website, check it out,
Right.
And so that was pretty good. And 150,000 in the big scheme of things isn't a lot of people, but for a startup, having 150 emails of people that showed interest and proactively came to you, you didn't pay to get them to the website, you didn't pay advertising, you didn't do anything like that. They came of their own fruition. Not because you clickbaited them or any, any weird stuff like that. That's a target. That's a targeted market. You're not gonna. It's something like 3% of your ideal client are looking to buy what you're selling right now. If they're an ideal client, only 3% are buying right now, but only about 30% of your ideal client would never buy from you. Mm-hmm. So what they did was they got all of those probably 3 to 10% people that would eventually buy from them, and they got them to be part of the community right up front, just by doing what they did.
Yeah.
So they're, you know, they were probably very, very close to having 150,000 steady customers. If
that's a great point.
Anyways.
All right, moving along as we're kind of getting close.
Yeah, we could probably need to go faster. I'll stop talking long.
No, you're good. So how many times, I'll read this whole question, we can kind of just address it quickly. How many times does a dress need to be rented in order to break even? How many times has an average dress been rented during the first 2 months of operation? What does these results imply about the viability of the business? In other words, are the promising results or concerning? Are these promising? So,
well, of course, it depends on what dress that they give out. Right. So how many times does it just need to be rented or in order to break even? Totally, depends.
I think it ranged from $35 to $80.
The data that they had in the study, if I broke it down correctly, it said to put it in a spreadsheet, and then when I got it in the spreadsheet, I thought I didn't need to do this in a spreadsheet, but okay. They dresses for about $226 on average. Their sales were $90, and they had variable cost rental of $31. So their net rental was $59 per rental. Because they shipped two, a unit was $450. 7.5 rentals just to break even on an average dress because they're renting out.
What did you say their
variable cost was? Sorry, go ahead.
What did you say the variable cost was? Just I was trying to keep up with you kind of breaking out.
The variable cost was $59.
Okay.
Sorry.
And then the net revenue was?
I keep getting messages on my computer saying my internet's not stable.
You're good.
Here, let me share my screen.
That'd be awesome.
I'm gonna share my screen because I have it right here.
Awesome. Yeah.
It's not pretty, so don't get excited when you see my crappy Excel spreadsheet here. Okay. So the sales per rental is $90. The cost is $31. So the net is $59. This was their total cost per dress. So that's just that cost times 2. And this is their total net divided by their 452 divided by their net. So 7.5 rentals just to break even on. I don't know if we averaged it out, it's technically 3.5 rentals per dress, but I'm kind of going back to that's a one dress is not one dress that they're sending out. It's 2 dresses. So buy 2 dresses for every one rental that they use. So broke up.
The 226 is the cost of the dress, or what did you say that was?
Can you hear me? I can't hear you if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. And let me see, where did I think that was in the study. That was here it is. Can you see my screen, or does it just say Excel?
Just Excel.
All right, let me stop sharing that. Actually, just share my screen.
I think I can see what you're saying now.
So this was in the case study. Cost of dress to RTR. You can see it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's the cost of dress, that's the rental, and the $31. So that's where I'm getting the number. The retail is $750 on a mid-tier dress. Granted, this is mid-tier, so I don't know if I saw any datas on a higher tier. The wholesale cost is $323, and what they were getting it for was $226. So that's kind of where the numbers came from. Now, if we take that and take what they were saying about I think it was in the assignment, eight days turnaround time, in a two-month time period, they're going to rent a dress 7.5 times. So their break even on one dress is 2 months and 7.5 rentals, which coincide with each other. So that's a pretty good proof of concept from a standpoint, because first of all, I thought that the dresses were going to be more expensive. So good for them that they got them so cheap. But you're only, and 2.5 months on average, that's if you bought $1 million worth of dresses, it just doesn't seem like that's a short period of time to turn over $1 million.
Right.
Assuming you have the capacity to ship them, which is their other problem, which is kind of different from this one. Anyways, okay. I'm going to stop talking because we got to wrap this up.
Yeah. So let's just look at question 6 real quick. I think we're going to answer it pretty quickly. It's pretty straightforward. Should RTR seek to scale quickly now or address operational efficiencies? Yeah, I think
operational efficiency.
Yeah, I think that's clear in my standpoint. I mean, you got to get your ducks in a row before you can start really going crazy.
So I'm going to be kind of the opposite on that, and here's why. Though I think their operational efficiencies are a must, they should do that anyways. The scalability of what they're doing, I think, is indicative of the industry, because the fashion industry is very trendy and very in the now, and they have to be able to scale that and do that really, really quick. And in my mind, if they just go out and get more venture capital and they just decide, well, instead of, they just add to the mix, we need somebody to come in and manage our operational inefficiencies and do it quick. That's just a matter of money. And if they're going to go back to get venture capital, just add that to how much they need. And the two can handle themselves at the same time. So I don't think they need to choose between one or the other, but I think if they were going to choose as far as what's going to be a priority, I think it should be to expand, because as quickly as they can turn stuff over and as big of a demand as they have, it's almost kind of like, why not,
Yeah, I guess I would just say, I wonder if it's similar to me when I go into a restaurant and I have to wait for a long time. I'm not so keen to go back to that restaurant, and I'm wondering if this wait time is drawing people like, oh man, I need this dress now. I need to just go to Sears or whatever, JCPenney's, and just get a dress. And because their operational efficiencies are so poor right now, I wonder if they're losing those potential customers.
Well, and especially, I was looking at their, I don't know, I think this was from 2010. I don't think it's from anything current, but at the bottom, their picture on their website says 1 day shipping. So for them to advertise that but not be able to do it is definitely, like, they need, like you were saying, Nick, like they need to have all their I don't know how you said ducks in the same basket, but like they can't say one thing and not do it. That's just like that's just a very bad business, and definitely would persuade people to not use them.
So here's why you could address the expansion and not the operational inefficiencies. If you have enough dresses, even if the lead time increases, if you have enough dresses, it answers that problem. Because, granted, it still takes 8 days or more days to process and get it back out there. If you have the other dresses sitting in the wings, just waiting to be shipped, which is kind of what they were talking about doing. They need to expand the inventory and expand the market to accessories and all that other stuff. That just takes money to buy the inventory. So it's about purchasing inventory is probably one of their biggest focuses with regards to the expansion. It was primarily inventory, and when you have enough dresses, which was their initial problem, the fact that it takes you 8 days to turn a dress around is still inefficient, and you get that down, then it's going to improve your availability, but it solves the problem. It's a Band-Aid, and it's certainly not a long-term fix, but it solves that issue, but it also gives you room to grow. And like I said, do the operational stuff while you're at it, and just do that over time. Because that's the other thing that they were doing. Everything they were doing, we're figuring this out as we go. And that was their whole strategy from the get-go. Sometimes taking that strategy and diverting from it, that could be just as detrimental to an otherwise great business and a great company with a lot of energy and vision. Taking a complete left turn or a right turn from your path could be just as catastrophic as 8-day turnaround time. So
for sure, good points for sure. I think that about wraps it up. Anybody else have any closing thoughts or anything we should talk about?
No, we just need to do a recap.
Yeah, who would like to do that this time?
I'm not going to volunteer. I think I've talked too much as it is. You're probably sick of hearing from me.
Recap. Is that what it said?
What's that?
Is that what it says, is to do a recap?
I think so. Yeah. Do you guys want me to do it?
I can do a recap. Is it just of like the case study in general, or like what we talked about? Or
no, I think you recap these questions, the answers to these questions. Like give it in a short.
Okay. I'll just kind of
answer.
sum it all up and then basically RTR, we believed, had a good business plan, had a good business idea. Their plan and efficiency in doing that idea was not the best and definitely had flaws. They needed to get out their products faster. They probably could have upped the price a little bit and made even more money. They needed to they needed to be able to keep up with how much customer base they had, which they didn't. And they we talked about them having to what they needed to do to break even with your Excel sheet, and we are split on the scale quickly and address operational efficiencies. That's basically it.
Nice. Sounds good. So,
Great.
When did we plan on meeting next?
I think on Wednesday at what was it again? Wednesday at what?
I don't remember.
7 a.m.
Oh
yeah, that's right. Wednesday at
6 a.m.
7 a.m.
No.
7 for you, right?
I know Fridays in the morning didn't work
7 your time.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I totally forgot that I started working at the temple, so I can't do that on Friday mornings.
No worries. Serve the Lord.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, so then when should we meet on Fridays?